They're robots in disguise. As 20-foot tall mechanical animals, let's talk about Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Your Past. I'm here to talk to you about the 7th Transformers movie. Yes, we are at 7 apparently. Transformers Rise of the Beast. It comes to theaters on June 9th, 2023. It is the next iteration in the, Transformers saga, where you have a new Transformer faction joining the fight, the Maximals. And with them comes some interesting new Transformers, a whole new plot, and a Marvel-style world-ending disaster. So, let's talk about the film. First, my hot take. I think you should probably rent it. Look, it is a fun summer movie. It has big action, big explosions, and a killer soundtrack, but the story just kind of makes no sense, as you would imagine, and it's a little bit long. But overall, it is a fun adventure, so I think you should rent it. If you see it in theaters, it has a lot of what would make an entertaining movie in theaters. Like I said, big robots, big action, all the things you want in a summer movie. It's just not really a great movie, but it is at least a good time. So I'm going to tell you a little about the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and go into the ending. As you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the ending section. If you don't want to know what happens in this movie, turn it off when I get there. Before that, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler-free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So, as strange as it sounds, Transformers Rise of the Beast story is even weirder than the normal Transformers story. So you start with this entity called Unicron. It's a world-ending robot, I guess, that devours worlds, but apparently can't move very far. It goes and destroys this one world looking for this rock called the transwarp key that would then let it warp between worlds and I guess consume more worlds quicker. I don't know how it moved before this, but apparently it needs this key to quickly go between worlds and consume them. It sends its robot minions, including this powerful robot named Scourge, down to get it. Now, when it's down there, it meets the Maximals, these animal transformer creatures, who try to fight it off, but mostly they just want to get the key out of there. They don't want Unicron to have the key. So some of the Maximals take the key, they head off into a jet that shoots them off into space, thus dooming this planet, but making the key go away so that other planets are spared the fate. Where does that key land? What happens to these Maximals? Well, you'll watch the movie to find out, but here's a guess. It's probably on Earth somewhere, and there's probably going to be some dire explosions and things that happen because of it. So, that being said, things I liked about this film. The first, most noticeable, biggest one, is a Transformers movie, the effects. The effects are fantastic. You get big robots, really kind of cool transformations. I really liked kind of the CG in this movie. It is, obviously CG, but it is very well done. It looks big. It looks fantastic. It looks like an exciting summer movie. You get to see these robots just kind of destroy each other with sparks and debris and things like that. It was a nice contrast to a movie I saw yesterday, The Flash, which is a better overall movie, but the CG in that is terrible. In this, the CG is fantastic. It is definitely something that is exciting and enjoyable and kind of a hallmark of a good summer movie. The second thing I liked, the humor. This is a Transformers movie. They tend to have good humor, except for some of the robots, stereotypes. And I think it was 2, maybe 3. One of those had some pretty bad humor. This one, that's pretty funny. I liked the characters. I liked the interaction between the main character, Noah, and the Transformers. I liked the interaction between the Transformers and things like that. It was a fun movie. Again, kind of a hallmark of a summer movie. You need action, you need humor. And you need the third thing I liked, which is the music. This might be the thing I like the most about this movie. The music is fantastic. The soundtrack is amazing. This film is set in the 90s, and you have an amazing hip-hop, 90s soundtrack. All the beats that maybe you didn't grow up with, but I did, and I loved hearing them. It was a wonderful, wonderful, refreshing soundtrack. All these great 90s hip-hop songs. It's woven in there. It's natural. It feels great. And it's not just the hip-hop, although the hip-hop is definitely a star. There's also some other good atmospheric music and some nice jazz during a pivotal scene where someone has to calm down. They play a nice, smooth jazz soundtrack that also fits perfectly. The audio in this is fantastic. And the last thing I liked, look, it's just a summer movie. Do you want to see big robots and big explosions in a story that kind of doesn't really make much sense, but at least allows them to fight each other and blow each other up? Then, yeah, of course you do. Everyone wants to, and that is kind of what this movie is about. And the final thing I liked, there is a big surprise at the end, which is silly and fitting with the Transformers theme, but also fits perfectly. I won't tell you about it now. I will go into it later, but it was something that made kind of the entire theater cheer. So, that being said, things I didn't love as much, they all kind of revolve around the same thing, but they're all related to kind of the story because the story is not very good. But the first thing I didn't love, I'll just call it kind of like what? Like the story is kind of ridiculous, makes no sense. You've got a new faction of Transformers that are apparently on Earth for a very long time, and they don't interact until, I guess, now. You would think that maybe they would find each other somehow. I don't know, Craigslist, Facebook, Transformers, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. You think they would reconnect somehow. But they apparently are not. No, until this new threat comes in, and then all of a sudden they all come together. It is a ridiculous story. You've got regular Transformers, you've got these Maximals, you've got this new faction of Transformers that are kind of like the Decepticons, but they're not the Decepticons because they're serving Unicron, so they're the Terracons, I think. I think maybe because they're terraforming this world, and by terraforming, they're destroying things. But it makes very little sense, and kind of, as you could tell from my introduction, it's weird that this like Unicron can devour worlds, but then apparently can't move without this rock that it just discovered, and apparently was able to get there to get that rock. But then maybe that was the last of its fuel, and even though it just devoured this world, it doesn't have the ability to then move more. Whatever, it's fine. It is still a fun summer movie. Second thing I didn't love as much, there are like some forced story sequences that again feel kind of ridiculous. Like you kind of have to get these humans involved if you want to have a good like movie. You need to have an interaction between the humans and the Autobots. They kind of force some of these sequences to make the humans be important. They're silly. They kind of stick out, but you know, I guess you kind of need them in there to make Noah and the other human in this film, Elena, have some purpose overall. So they're there. They're silly when they happen, and just kind of get past it. And the last thing I didn't love, it's a pretty long movie. Like this movie feels a little bit unnecessarily long, even though it has some fun sequences. It's about 130 minutes. It feels like you could have maybe trimmed some of this out to make it a little bit more tight. But again, I'm sure they spent a lot of money on all this CG effects. So there you go. So that being said, Transformers Rise of the Beast comes to theaters on June 9th, 2023. Look, like I keep saying, it's a ridiculous summer movie. It is a ridiculous summer movie. I didn't think it was a great movie overall, but it was enjoyable. I think you should ultimately rent it. But if you go see it in theaters, there's a lot that makes going to theaters fun. The crowd will like it. The music is fantastic. The effects are great. So it's definitely not the worst thing to see in theaters. It's just not really a great movie. So if you see it, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to go into the ending. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers here. If you don't want to know what happens in this film, I would turn it off now, just because there will be spoilers, there will be spoilers, there will be spoilers. So like I said, at the start, you had the Maximals leave their home planet with the Transgate key that would allow Unicron to travel through, I guess, space and time and eat more worlds. They ended up on Earth for some reason. And when they got there, they hid the key, and it finally gets uncovered years later in this like Museum of Natural History in New York. There is a brilliant intern there who apparently can't do much right, but knows everything about all these ancient cultures and their artifacts. She at the start goes through and like identifies all these artifacts as like fake or real, and what, you know, era they're from and whatnot. And they get this statue of a bird with these weird symbols on it that can't really be matched with anything else. So she's intrigued by this because she's never seen this. She wants to know what this bird is and what it means. You also have this kid, Noah, who is a good kid who is just kind of having a tough time with life. His brother is sick, so they have like mounting hospital bills. He is trying to get a job, trying to help the family out, but no one wants to hire him because he had to leave the military early in order to help take care of his brother. But because of that, he kind of like got they didn't say what, but he got at least a negative review from his commander, which doesn't help him in the job hunt. So he is trying, he gets desperate, and he decides to do a heist to try to make some money to help his brother. During this heist, he's going to boost a car, and it's this beautiful Porsche with this weird non-Porsche symbol on the front. It looks kind of like a robot face. What could it be? Well, you find out it's a transformer. While he is trying to like steal the car, that car gets a message from Optimus Prime that there is an artifact that they have to go and get. This artifact was what was inside that bird which our friend, the intern, Elena, was able to finally open up using some museum technology that unlocked the bird, got this like transgate key out, and this then sent a beacon up into space that only robots can see. It's like a Ghostbusters style, like beam of light straight up in the air, but none of the humans can see it, only the robots can see. When the robots see it, they all converge, and you have Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, a motorcycle robot, and Mirage, the Porsche that Noah was trying to boost, all show up to try to get this key. Now, the Autobots want this key because, like I said, this key can let you travel through like space easily. They want to go back to their home planet, and they think that this key is their key. So Noah decides to help them because Mirage, the car that he was trying to boost, said like, hey, I'll help you out. Like, if you get this key, I will let you sell me to whoever, and then I'll just drive away, but you'll get to keep the money. So he's going to get the money. He's going to help him get the key. Easy peasy. Nope, it's not. When he gets in there, Elena's there. She doesn't really like him, but then she really doesn't like when these new robots show up and try to kill them. Now, these robots look kind of like Decepticons, act kind of like Decepticons, but they're not. They're Terracons. They are the followers of Unicron, the world-eating machine that can't move, and they are trying to get this key so that they can then help this machine travel through the world, eat more worlds. There's a big fight. There is all this stuff that happens. The Autobots are very outmatched by the Terracons. And eventually it seems like all hope is lost. But then a giant, like, eagle-looking thing that is the size of like a C-130 comes in and shoots flames out of its mouth to distract everyone. It saves Optimus Prime, who is fighting Scourge, the like super Terracron. But the Terracons escape with the key. So now you're introduced to this new robot who was in hiding until it saw this like beam of light. This is Airazor, one of the Maximals that came to Earth a very, very long time ago, and apparently was in hiding until it saw this beam. So you think all hope is lost. The Terracons have the key. Everything is going to be over. But no, no, no. It's only half the key. When the Maximals came to Earth, they broke the key in half and gave one half to one person, I guess one half to another person, hid them separately so that it would be hard to find. And luckily for everyone, the only person that seems to know where this other key is Elena, the intern, because when she was doing research on this bird statue, the symbols apparently also showed up in Peru. So she thinks the other key is in Peru. So what do? They all travel to Peru in this janky old Autobot that is like an old pilot Autobot that can transform into transport airplanes that just smoke all the time. Anyways, they get to Peru. When they get to Peru, they are met by another Autobot. It is Wheeljack. It's a van that has glasses and a really prominent Spanish accent. He's a fun character, and I like his interaction with Noah. Anyways, when they get to this city in Peru, there is a big festival going on. So the Autobots can't really sneak up and try to get the key, but luckily they have humans who can go in and get to this square and solve this age-old puzzle that apparently no one has been able to solve. They just have to rotate these blocks so they line up, and then it opens up this passage into the underground. They head down to the underground underneath the city. They thought it's like this secret underground city that apparently no one has been to, even though there is like sunlight streaming in. So clearly there is some way to access it, but I guess no one has been here for a very long time. They get to the spot where they think the key is. They open this coffin that has like a transformer symbol on it, but the key's gone. There are some symbols, but the key's gone. Now, unfortunately for them, while Noah and Elena are doing this, the Terracons are also here, and they send out these little robot creatures to go and try to take them out. The robots are apparently easily able to get into this underground city, and they attack Noah and Elena, who have to run. And they run into the wilderness away from these little Terracon robots. While they're doing this, the Terracons fight the Autobots, and during the fight, Airazor gets hurt. She gets shot by like a little disc from Scourge that hits her and causes her to like rust. But they're able to fight off Scourge and the gang, and now they're in the wilderness. They are all there, but they don't know where the key is. And while they're there, they get attacked by this other group of robots. They're all animals. They look They are like giant animal robots. They're the Maximals. You got the gorilla robot, who is Optimus Primal. You've got the rhino robot, who is Rhinox. And you got the cheetah robot, who is Cheetor. They all show up, and they did not know that Airazor was here. Apparently, they couldn't communicate, I guess. It's just weird. Like, you would think that they would at least be able to, I don't know, message each other. They're all Maximals. I guess maybe they went very dark to protect the key. Maybe they had radio silence to kind of like keep each other separate. But in any event, they're reunited. Everyone's happy. And the Maximals know where the key is. And they take everyone to this Peruvian village that's up in the mountains that has been saving the key. They've been storing it there for generations. It is safe with this family that has been like helping out the Maximals for years and years. And Optimus Prime sees like, oh, look, you can work with the humans and everything's great. They decide to stay there and try to figure out what to do. But the next morning, Airazor, who had been shot by this thing from Scourge, started to turn. Like, Airazor looked a little worse for wear, and now the next morning it is like fully corrupted by the thing, I guess, by Scourge itself. Scourge has control of it, and Airazor attacks everyone. And during the fight, while everyone's distracted, while everyone's trying to like stop Airazor, who eventually has to get shut down to like stop her from attacking her friends, Scourge gets the key and escapes. So now Scourge has both keys. Everything seems to be dire. Scourge is able to unite the keys, start the process, pull in Unicron. You're like, oh man, like everything's done. This giant world eater is coming. But wait, there is a solution. Apparently, there is a failsafe. If they can get up to where the key is in this like Sauron-like tower that forms up when you join the keys. And so the key is up there. If they can get up there and type in this secret code that shuts them down, they can shut down the sequence. They can't do it any other way because there's too much energy in there. It'll hurt them. But no one knows the code except for Elena again. Apparently, when she was researching, she wrote down all the symbols. So she at least has the symbols for the code. These secret symbols that were apparently just like written on the objects. One of the symbols is from the bird object that held the key. They wrote the secret symbol on the outside. And the other is from the sarcophagus that held the other key. They just wrote the secret symbol in there. So not super secret, but you know what? She at least has the information. And luckily, the humans can get into this place because there's a little vent that the humans can go into to get to where the kind of key platform is, and they can access the key that way. So yay, humans, they are very helpful. So they come with this plan. The Autobots and the Maximals are going to attack the Terracons, distract them. Mirage is going to attack Scourge, distract him, and the humans are going to run through this little catwalk and get to the key, and all will be good. Is it going to be good? Well, you know, it probably is not going to work out perfectly. They do have a great fight. It is a big fight. It is interesting. But as they are fighting, Unicron is coming through the portal, and it shoots out all these little, like, satellite ship things that pop down Earth, and more robots happen. More Terracon robots join the fight. So it becomes bigger and bigger. And also, Mirage is trying to take on Scourge, but Mirage is a little bit outmatched. So while they're fighting, Noah decides to stop and look up at Mirage. And when this happens, Scourge realizes that Noah's there. Scourge picks up Noah. He is going to kill him. But Mirage, who's his friend, the kind of car that he boosted, they had a big relationship through that kind of like shared experience. He saves Noah, and in the process, he himself gets killed. But not fully killed, just mostly immobilized. While this is happening, Elena is trying to run to get to the key to put down the shutdown sequence. Now, Mirage is basically kind of shut down, and he's like, I can't do this on my own anymore. You have to help me, Noah. And so Mirage then, I guess, transforms into like an exoskeleton for Noah. And so now a big, powerful robot is now an exoskeleton for a little human. And I guess that makes him more powerful. I don't know. You would think that the robot would be faster, stronger, better able to fight this. But no, when he's combined with a human, he is now able to help fight Scourge. So Noahbot takes on Scourge, and he does a decent job. But then Optimus jumps in to help too, and together they fight Scourge. Elena gets to the key. She's putting in the information. She finally decodes the message, puts it in. Scourge sees this, doesn't like this. Scourge blows up the console. So this like secret key that's able to shut them down, apparently all you do is just destroy the console and it can't be shut down. Not good for anyone involved. Not good for them. So during this fight, Noahbot is taken away by a flying robot. Optimus is kind of sworded by these little robots that kind of take him on and put him down. You think all hope is lost. But then in pops Bumblebee. Bumblebee had been hurt earlier. He'd been disabled. But when this whole like world engine thing came and started like pulling in Unicron, it activated the latent, I forget what they're called, like essentially the force for robots, energons, I think. They activated those and like revived Bumblebee. So now Bumblebee can join the fight. Bumblebee comes in, helps take out all the robots that are not Optimus. Optimus is able to then come up and fight Scourge. They have an epic battle. And it's weird because before Scourge was easily able to take out Optimus, but now Optimus is fueled by the power of love, I guess, or I don't know, desperation maybe. He is finally able to take out Scourge through his sword and also some lava that is around when this key thing activated. They're able to take down Scourge, but that console was destroyed. Scourge was able to destroy the console before this happened. So what are they going to do now? Well, Optimus tells everyone, get out of here, like get back. I will take out this console. I will sacrifice myself. They're like, okay, that is a big deal. Like, thank you, Optimus. They get back. Optimus like blows it up, and there's a much smaller explosion than I expected. It like blows up, but then it causes all this stuff to be sucked up into this portal that was being opened for Unicron. So Unicron starts to go back. All of those little robots start to go back, and all the things that were drawn in are starting to be sucked up. And unfortunately for Optimus, he is in the, I guess, radius of this. He's in the cone of this, so he starts to get sucked up as well. So you're like, uh-oh, Optimus is going to go up to Unicron's world. He's done for. So Optimus like tries to hold on to something. His grip loosens. He like uses his axe to hit something to try to hold on. That also fails. He's about to get sucked up into the portal, but no, Noahbot grabs his axe, and little Noah is able to hold on to Big Optimus, help him out. Noah holds him long enough. Eventually, Noah's grip slips, but when his grip slips, Optimus Primal, the giant gorilla robot, grabs Optimus, yanks him forward. Apparently, that was all it takes. Just a big old yank, and now Optimus is out of the cone. They're all able to escape. Everyone gets out fine. Everyone survives. Even the ones that seem to potentially die earlier are all fine. I don't know. I kind of, not that I want Optimus to be killed, but like if he's going to sacrifice himself, he should probably sacrifice himself. I don't know. It felt a little cheap to have like Optimus sacrifice himself, but then all of a sudden they're able to save him through the power of like Noahbot and Optimus Primal. But in any event, I don't really want Optimus to be destroyed, so I guess it kind of makes sense that they would save him. And it is very Optimus to be like the one to sacrifice himself. So they get out. Everything is sucked up in there. Unicron is, I guess, stuck in his purgatory for a while longer. And all's well that ends well. Optimus is upset that they lost the transwarp key, but he is happy that they've gained some friends and allies. Now the Autobots and the Primals can join forces to help protect this world. And they also have the humans. So together, they are much stronger than separate. Everyone goes back to their world. Everyone goes back to their normal life. Noah heads back home. Now he's really trying to get a job again. He shows up for a job, and when he's there, he like sits down for an interview. The guy's like, yo, your resume is really thin. He's like, oh, well, I had some new experience on there that I didn't mention. Like, I just got back from this international trip. And he's like, oh, tell me about that. He's like, oh, yeah, I was doing some contract work in South America. It was just busy, work. But it was cool. And the guy's like, oh, that's a shame. I hear Peru has some great food. I'm sorry you didn't get to experience that. He's like, I didn't mention Peru. And the person who's interviewing is like, oh, no, we know all about you and your and Elena and your friends. And then this person goes on to say, like, they would really love for Noah and his friends to join them in their mission. They are a secretly funded government agency that is trying to protect the world, and they could really use Noah's help and his friends. And he's like, I don't know about that. He's like, well, you know what? Let me tell you this. You saved the world, so because of that, as thanks from a grateful nation, we are covering your brother's health expenses. He will now have 24/7, the best health care, no questions asked. He'll be fine. A very sweet gesture, really nice. Something that was really kind of stressing Noah out. And the guy gives him his card before And basically says like, think about it, let me know, we'd love to have you on the team. He goes and opens this like secret door behind this bookcase. It opens up, and there is some sort of like hangar in there that has something that's being worked on, some computers. It's pretty bare bones. It looks like it's just getting off the ground, but it is definitely there. It is definitely a secret government operation. Noah looks down at the card and flips it over, and on the back you see G.I. Joe. So the Hasbro convergence has happened. Transformers, G.I. Joe in the same world. I kind of called it when I was watching it the Hasbro Hail Mary. They're trying to like get this Hasbro cinematic universe happening. We'll see. Maybe it'll work. It's kind of silly, but it also fits perfectly. Like, sure, why not? Let's have G.I. Joe and Transformers combine forces to take on the Decepticons and Cobra. Sure, why not? I'd be excited to see it. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. And that's the movie. There is also a scene during the credits. Noah is in a garage with the kind of like friend slash gangster who gave him a job at the very start to boost a car. They're friends, and so he is there with him fixing up this car. This car is a Porsche that looks very much like Mirage, except it's all full of like swapped junkyard parts. So it's kind of a patchwork Porsche, but it's still there. Noah, his friend is like, that's never going to start. And Noah's like, I'll bet you it will. And then he takes the key, and then it says like, Mirage, let's go. And Mirage transforms. Mirage is back. He transforms into himself. And now apparently Noah's just revealing the Transformers to everyone. Now his gangster friend knows about the Transformers as well. And that's the movie. Like I said, the story is ridiculous, but if you get past the story and just sit back and have fun, it is a fun summer movie. I think it's ultimately a rental, but if you go see it in theaters, you'll at least have a good time. So that is Transformers Rise of the Beast. It comes to theaters on June 9th, 2023. Let me know if you see it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I got right. Let me know what I got wrong. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.